The Resilience Across Borders podcast is intended to be a resource for education, support, and inspiration. I am not a psychologist or a medical doctor and do not offer any professional, medical, or health advice. If you are dealing with or suffering from any psychological or medical conditions, please seek help from a qualified health professional. Hello, and welcome back to the Resilience Across Borders podcast. In this episode, we will explore the importance of stress management for building resilience and also provide some tips for managing stress. So first, let's go over the connection between stress and resilience. So obviously, stress is a natural part of life, and it can actually help us build resilience by providing opportunities to practice coping skills and to adapt to challenges. As the late Japanese swordsman and philosopher and strategist Miyamoto Musashi said, you can only fight the way you practice. So you can't just wait until it's time to go and you're jumping in there and you're trying to fight a different way that you've never practiced. So this is just a metaphor, but it applies to a lot in life. So however, chronic stress can have negative effects on our physical and mental health and can undermine our resilience in the absence of the right tools, the right trainings, and the right strategies. Some amount of stress is good to stretch us, to challenge us, but chronic, continuous stress can be unhealthy. And research has shown that effective stress management is a key factor in building resilience. So by learning to manage stress effectively, we can reduce its negative impact on our well-being, and we can also increase our capacity to handle challenges. So what are some tips for managing stress? Or how can you manage stress effectively? First, identify your stress triggers. Pay attention to the things that trigger stress for you and try to avoid and minimize them, or at least be conscious and aware to anticipate and be prepared so you don't keep falling into the same trap, so you don't get trapped into that wash cycle. You're being tossed around, you have no idea why that is happening to you or whatnot. Most often, if we pay attention, or at least we learn from the first time or second time or even third time, so we don't keep falling for the same thing. So the same things don't keep triggering us and we're just remain helpless in the face of them, and we just keep having the same undesirable response, or just being stuck in that loop and then just beating ourselves up or feeling sorry for ourselves and so on and so forth, or even just something as simple as forgetting to breathe. So anyway, this comes with being able to identify those triggers and continuing to be aware and develop strategies and testing different ways you can soothe yourself in those types of situations, or just kind of have perspective and be able to step back and to look at the situation in a different way. Another thing you can do is practice relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or yoga. Make them a regular part of your routine. To reap the full benefits of these things, they have to be part of the routine. And the more you practice it, the more actually you get into it, and the more you really take it to a deeper level of practice and of return. So as you will see, my goal is a lot of with these is to remind you. So you'll see sometimes, if you're a consistent listener, you will see some of these things are recurring and repeating. And my goal is not to give you a flavor of the month. My goal is to keep reminding you and to give you the things that have been proven over the course of a human existence, over the course of history. And a lot of these things, they're not fads, they're not something new. These things have been proven over and over. And as the saying goes, common sense is not always common practice. So this is to remind you of these things. Another thing you can do is to prioritize self-care and make time for activities that you actually enjoy and that help you recharge, such as, of course, exercise, any hobbies that really recharge you, or spending time with loved ones or your pets or whatever makes you relaxed and gives you that sense that you've taken good care of yourself. And also, it's important to manage your time effectively by setting realistic goals and dividing the time for productivity and also time for rest and reset, and also prioritize your tasks to avoid feeling overwhelmed. So sometimes you can just create these overwhelming lists and you end up doing shit, excuse the term, because you're just confused mind just says no. So if you set up your priorities and you say, okay, if I don't do anything else, maybe this one thing, and then sometimes you'll do your top three, whatever works for you. Even if you just start with one big, most important, valuable thing that you can do, that's the start, right? So get rid of the clutter, declutter your minds and declutter your lists as well, or your tasks. And of course, seek support. Don't hesitate to reach out to friends, to reach out to family, reach out to a mentor, a mental health professional, a coach. Reach out for support when you need it. In addition, there are more strategies for building resilience through stress management. Because once you've developed these effective stress management skills, it's important to practice them to continue to build resilience. And one of them is to practice mindfulness. Stay present and engaged in the moment without being too self-conscious or beating yourself up too much. And just try to avoid past or future stressors. Do not get anxious about a future that may never happen, or a past that's already gone and you can't do anything about. So I did a whole thing about KMF, or Keep Moving Forward, where I go a little bit more onto this and different reminders and different strategies. So also stay flexible, be open to change and willing to adapt to new situations. Flow like water sometimes, It's just like it's just a better way to live. So you become more resilient and unbreakable by being flexible. Of course, I've said this, probably heard it in about every single episode of the podcast, and it is cultivate gratitude. And I do this every day, and I'm not just preaching it, I do it, I live it, and I see its benefits every day in my life. So focus on the things in your life that you're grateful for and express your appreciation to others, and also appreciate yourself. And it's important to stay connected. Many studies have shown the importance of relationships and the importance of connection at different stages of life. So stay connected, build and maintain supportive relationships or supportive network with friends and with family. So in conclusion, stress management is a key component of building resilience. By identifying stress triggers, practicing relaxation techniques, prioritizing self-care, managing your time effectively, and seeking support when you need it, you can reduce the negative impact of stress on your well-being. And by using the skills to cultivate resilience through mindfulness, flexibility, gratitude, and connection, you can develop the ability to adapt and thrive in the face of challenges. So, as always, thanks for tuning in. Remember to share, comment, or subscribe where relevant to you. And as always, remember to be aware, be grateful, and be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Take care.